few short weeks ago, we saw a number of bizarre earthquakes happening in the Area 51 area out in Nevada, not just close by, but expanded areas. And so a lot of people were curious why this was all happening at the same time that we are getting ready for UFO disclosure in the United States. And then, of course, we got our first tranche of documents released and videos and audio files released by the U.S. government just last week. But something else has been unfolding at Area 51, and that is the seizure of over 22,000 acres of public land near the base, which encompasses Tikaboo Peak and other remote viewing areas where our next guest has managed to climb up and document what is actually going on at Area 51. Is this all in an effort to try to quiet people like our next guest? Anders Ottesen is the host of Uncanny Expeditions on YouTube. One of my favorite guests to talk about what's going on out there in these zones, and a man who has actually been to these sites with his own camera, his own camping gear, and had to be kicked out. Creepy guys in trucks with guns. Anders is back on the show. Anders, great to see you. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So what is going on here with this land seizure? And we can talk about maybe some of the, if you experience some of these earthquakes in a moment, but 22,000 acres of public land they're now seizing?
It's never a dull moment out at Area 51. The latest development is this massive land seizure that encompasses the most well-known viewpoint for Area 51, which is Tikaboo Peak. Now, Tikaboo Peak has been climbed for over 30 years. People come from all over to climb it, and it sits on public land that's supposed to be managed by the Bureau of Land Management. The thing is basically, since this land is actually 26 miles away from the base, the way they were able to seize this land is very strange. So all of a sudden, the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, came out and said, this is a safety hazard. In fact, I'll read what they say here. They say, the area proposed for closure, the mountain slopes are too steep for safe foot traffic, and the rocky ground is dangerously unstable. Well, anybody who's familiar with this area or Nevada in general knows that this is no more dangerous of an area than anywhere else in the state. In fact, I've been to a lot of places. I wouldn't even rate this in the top 10 as far as danger. So it's very obviously a situation where the military went to the Bureau of Land Management, which is supposed to be an independent agency, and they told them, hey, look, we need this area closed off. We don't care how you do it. And the other part of it is not only did they seize the mountain peaks, but they seized, like I said, over 22,000 acres. So there's this huge part of the valley and part of a national monument with petroglyph sites, OHV trails, all this stuff that's supposed to belong to the American taxpayer. We now have the military that came in and just took it over without any kind of due process.